Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. The Cincinnati Bengals are a bit of a mess right now. Now, what that turns into with wins and losses this season, I don't know. But I can look at the Cincinnati Bengals right now in June and say, boy, they look like a mess, because they are a mess. I would say they're probably the sloppiest looking football team in the NFL right now. And I don't think anybody's remotely even close right now. Here's why I think they're a mess. So the Bengals all offseason, for the last 2 years really, have been at odds with their number one pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson. That's not anything new. Trey Hendrickson has decided to take this further. He's been complaining about his contract situation publicly to the media. He's talked to multiple news outlets. He's been on local news, national news, voicing his frustration with not only the Bengals' stubbornness about getting a contract done, but just flat out the Bengals' unprofessionalism in this process, right? Not returning calls, not really even keeping him in the loop, basically just taking him for granted. And that has led to Trey Hendrickson, for the first time, not showing up to mandatory camps in his career. Now, that's not the story. That's just a side piece to the story. The Bengals' best defensive player, a guy who led the league in sacks last year, and not showing up to mandatory camps, not the main story, because the guy that they drafted, presumably to eventually replace Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart, in the first round, the Bengals are doing the exact same BS contract-wise to him that they're doing to Trey. The Bengals don't even know how to scab correctly. They're such a odd organization, right? Like what they're doing with Shamar is bringing in cheaper labor to try to put pressure on the established labor, right, that wants a pay raise. Like what they're doing essentially with drafting a defensive end here is scabbing. It's a common technique corporations love to do when faced with labor union walkouts and strikes of the such. Now, obviously, Trey Hendrickson's not leading a strike of the Bengals, but he's not showing up. He's doing his own personal version of a strike here. So they brought in a scab, and Shamar Stewart, through no control of his own, is the scab in this situation. And they're nickel and diming the dude that they're bringing in primarily so they can nickel and dime the other guy, to the point to where they have turned the scab into opposition. It's amazing. They're like, the Bengals aren't even good at being evil. Like what they're trying to do is be an evil corporation football team. And they're so bad at it. They're so damn cheap that they can't even be good at that. That's hilarious to me. Now, you might be asking me, Quincy, why am I characterizing this situation? What's going on with Shamar Stewart? Well, I'll tell you. Shamar Stewart, as I mentioned, he's a rookie. Drafted in the first round, he has a rookie deal. Now, there are small parts and interpretations of a rookie deal that you get to negotiate with the front office. Doesn't really change much, but it does change how the guarantees are handled, right? Is there an injury guarantee? How much is guaranteed with injury? Small details in the contract. The overall number is always going to be the same because these contracts are slotted for rookies, so you get a certain amount of pay based on what position you play and where you go in the draft. So this is basic stuff, small, tiny little stuff here, right, that every NFL team goes through. Now, what I thought was strange about this was they were going through those negotiations with Shamar Stewart and his agent, and Shamar Stewart sat out OTAs. Now, that was a little strange, but it's not, so strange that we've never heard of it before. What's going on right now where he's willing to sit out of mandatory camp is odd. And to add on top of the oddness, Shamar Stewart did press availability today, and we're just going to react to this because this is wild. Like, they have pushed a rookie, somebody who is brought in to be cheap labor, and like the dude is on the podium sounding like he is ready to walk out today. Like he's that tired of it. I'm not. Let's just play the video. I'll react to it alongside to it. By the way, the video comes from All Bengals Talk, the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys, if you want Bengals stuff or Bengals press conference stuff, check them out.
Want to be on the field?
Very bad. I mean, I've been doing this for most of my whole life, and then all of a sudden it's gone over something very simple to fix. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
Have they given you any answers as to why they're choosing this year and you to set a new precedent?
If I really wanted to say, yeah, I can't say what I really want to say, but it's their contract. They could do what they want with it.
Oh, you saw the air quotes? The man is tired. That is the face of a tired man. He has just gotten here, by the way. What the debate about with Cincinnati is about the interpretation of guarantees in his rookie contract. The Bengals are trying to change the precedent on how those guarantees are interpreted. And it's not the precedent to what the Bengals have been doing. It's the precedent to what the league has been doing at most. And they're choosing him to be the guy that they want to pilot the new stuff on. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't be shocked if an NFL team tries this, but once it's clear it's going to become an issue, it would be the smart play for an NFL team, knowing that they're at the beginning of a relationship that they hope to be very long. This guy you drafted in the first round, somebody you hope is going to be on the team for 10 years, that you would just punt on trying to set this framework, fight the long fight, and not go to blows with your first round draft pick in his rookie year over what is pretty inconsequential stuff in a rookie contract. And again, we're talking about guaranteed money in a rookie deal. If you're drafting somebody in the first round, I want to stress to folks, it really shouldn't matter what their guarantee is if you're good at drafting, because you should just have them on their rookie contract for that period of time. Now, this is where I have heard some of the most shameless efforts of coping from Cincinnati Bengals fans. And I want to stress that even Cincinnati Bengals fans have roasted this guy for having this opinion, and I'm not going to put his tweet on screen. But basically, I saw somebody really going hard with this, saying, hey, the Bengals don't want to guarantee him the money because Shamar Stewart didn't have a ton of production at Texas A&M. Now, if you don't think about that at all, that might make sense. But if you think about it for more than like half a second, it's one of the dumbest statements you've ever heard, because you're telling me that the Bengals purposely drafted somebody in the middle of the first round they don't believe in? They don't believe in so much that they don't want to guarantee him money? What are you doing? How does that make sense? Like, and this is why I don't think any of this makes sense to the Cincinnati Bengals. What they are haggling about right now, you have to understand, are pennies for an NFL team dealing with the salary cap. The fact is no matter how this deal is structured, the rookie contract for a first round pick, if that player is good, is always a bargain. It's always a bargain. So if you believe you can draft well at this point of this guy's career, you should believe that you're going to get a bargain. So it's not like the difference between negotiating this guarantee and not is going to make a huge difference to the Cincinnati Bengals. The difference is going to be felt more by Shamar Stewart than it would be Cincinnati. And again, it begs the question, why is Cincinnati even doing this? They have very little to benefit from doing this. And the answer is seemingly they just want to be cheaper. The cruelty is the point here for Cincinnati. It's strange. Again, this is a team that is trying to be evil, and they're not good at being evil because this whole thing is still kind of about Trey Hendrickson. This is wild. Let's continue.
How important is it for you, do you think, from a player standpoint, to be on the field for training camp?
It's very important. I mean, like, you got to get your body somewhat prepared to play football, especially me coming from college to the NFL is a way physical game, even though I play in SEC, which is very physical, but nothing compares to actually playing in the NFL. So I thought I'd be on the field by now. That's what I thought.
What about your representation, family, friends? Obviously, you've got to lean on a lot of people to kind of get through a difficult time like this. What have they been telling you to help you?
You know, just take it day by day, pray to God. You know, He's always gonna stand with me, no matter what. And just know you're doing the right thing. Like some people say, we all agree Trey will be right? But technically, he's still 1% wrong for being under contract. So, in my case, I'm 100% right. So it should be a no-brainer. And in Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too. I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that. But
Yo, that's so bad. Day one. This dude hasn't even worn pads for your organization yet, and he already has instilled in him this idea that my production is not going to be valued or rewarded in Cincinnati. Day one. Like, you broke all of that illusion. Any hope of getting like a hometown discount with this guy, it's over. Like, he's not going to forget that you nickeled and dimed him for his rookie contract. Like, again, this is not a situation where this dude's asking for something that's never been asked before. He's asking for the standard rookie contract, the standard interpretation, and the Bengals are like, no, we don't want to do it. That's what's going on here. Like, they are trying to squeeze this man and just screw him out of what is essentially a couple of dollars to the Cincinnati Bengals. For what? With no real concern about what this does. Because, yeah, Jamar Chase got his money. Joe Burrow got his money. So maybe it doesn't affect those two. And you'll be a solid team as long as you have those two. I'll give the Bengals that. You know, they're not going to miss the playoffs or anything because of this. But everybody else in that locker room, everybody else in the NFL is looking at that and going, boy, that seems like the worst place to ever play. Like, I can't wait till I get out of here. What are they doing? Why are they doing this? It makes no sense.
Have you talked to Trey at all?
I talked to him the last time he was here, but other than that, no.
Has this experience soured your taste of the Bengals?
I'm not gonna.
Long pause, brother. You know the answer to that question. Oh, you know the answer to that question. Look at that shit. Look at the face he's making and how long he waited to answer that question. Because you know he can't come out here and say, yeah, I hate the Bengals now. He's still got to play there, dog. Like, you can't get out your rookie deal. But that pause, man.
The Bengals.
Woo, what's going through their mind right now? He's sick of it already, man. Sick of it.
I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I'm still new here. We still have a long future ahead of us.
What's your communication with Zach Taylor been like through this process?
We talk here and there.
Do you feel behind?
That sounds like a man super excited to be a Bengal right there, man.
Mentally, no. Physically, kind of, sort of. Not really, though. I still work out. I feel like I'm still in good shape.
How do you make sure that you're ready to go whenever that time does come?
Oh, I'm always ready to go. I've been staying ready to go.
He thinking about all the other draft hats he could have worn right now. I know he is. I know he like, man, I could have been drafted here. I could have been drafted there. Man, I would have rather fell. Like, I know he's thought about it. I know he's thinking about that right now.
I mean, it's my job now. I got no choice but to be ready to go.
Are you optimistic is the wrong word, but is it realistic that you could practice tomorrow if something gets done? I mean, is it that quick? Do you think it's going to be like a light switch?
Let's see. We got, 20 hours? Let's see what happens. I mean, rookie minicamp will be over at the end of the week.
Bruh, it's week 1 and you got your mans looking like this already. That's insane. That's insane. The Bengals are trying to win a speed run of how to ruin a relationship with the player that you drafted in the first round. This is crazy to me.
I feel like I assume it should be done between now and then. I hopefully get back on the field tomorrow. That's what I'm planning to do. But as in how far I'll take it, I mean, it just depends.
And look, here's the thing, because I could drop this video and then it drops that the Bengals have figured this out with Shamar. He's going to be practicing today, and it's over with by the time you watch this video, right? That could certainly be the case. That's not the point, right? I know that if that happens, there are going to be people trying to chant victory for the Bengals here, but that's not the point. The point is you've already done damage. Look at the damage you've dealt. This guy's out here siding with a player right now who's actively feuding with your front office. He actively has his own beef with the front office. This is not a guy who thinks that his organization operates in good faith with him. This is not a guy who's going to do any deals that he thinks the organization, that relies on him believing the organization operating in good faith. Like, this is just not the look of somebody. This is not the look you want on your first round pick's face when talking about how it's like to be a Bengal. That's not what you want. The damage is done. You can handle this shit this second. It's so dumb that it lasted this long. It's ridiculous it lasted this long.
Like, in my case, I'm 100% right. I'm going to ask for nothing y'all never done before. But in y'all case, y'all just want to win an argument instead of winning more games, in my opinion. In my case, I'm 100% right. I'm going to ask for nothing y'all never done before. But in y'all case, y'all just want to win an argument instead of winning more games, in my opinion.
In my case, I'm 100% right. Because I'm not asking you guys to do anything you haven't done before. It feels like y'all just trying to win an argument instead of win football games. That is what he just said. That is what he believes about his own front office. And that's the only reason he believes that is because of how the front office treated him on some very standard contract work. Like, they have successfully radicalized their own first round pick against them in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, they have successfully radicalized their own first round pick against them. It could get done today, and the damage is done. He doesn't believe this front office wants to win football games. Think about everything that happened to Myles Garrett for him to get to a point to where he's even willing to consider that the front office might not want to win games, right? It took Myles going 0-16, 1-15, multiple under 500 seasons, and then another 3-win seasons to consider maybe Cleveland doesn't have my best interest in mind. And then ultimately signed a long-term deal in Cleveland. Obviously, those concerns have been alleviated from Myles. That is how much it should take how long it should take for you to disillusion a first-round pick with the idea that your team wants to win football games. They've done that shit in 2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. They're too cheap to be evil. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What is that? What kind of message does that send to you as you try to go out and establish yourself, like get ready in the league? What kind of message does that send to you when it kind of goes out that way?
It's just disappointing. Like I've never been the person to ask for more than what I deserve. Like I'm perfectly content with what I deserve, and I feel like you trying to implement something new to me is unfair, and I feel like I've been nothing but fair. Like I'm not asking for nothing crazy. I could understand if I was asking for more of my signing bonus, which I'm not.
Again, he's not asking for anything nobody else got in his similar draft position or later. He's simply asking for what's the standard. That's it. That's it. And again, I want to stress to folks, the difference here for the Bengals is pennies. Pennies. It's an accounting difference. It's so minuscule, it's never worth going to war over, which is why you never see competent front offices going to war over something like this. This is nonsense, what the Bengals are doing. Like, I know somebody's going to come in here and defend the Bengals for whatever reason. You know, there's always like a couple people who want to defend, you know, their favorite rich person, and maybe Mike Brown's your favorite rich person. I don't know. I don't care. Just know what the Bengals are doing here is so stupid. Because again, he's here because Trey Hendrickson doesn't want to sign a contract. He's supposed to be here to be leveraged to get Trey Hendrickson to show up. And now you can't even get the dude that you're trying to get to undercut Trey Hendrickson to show up. You're too cheap to be evil. That's crazy. I mean, it's fortunate that they're not good at it, right? I don't want a team to be good at being evil, but dog. And this is a team right now that is finagling and nickel and diamond a first-round pick that has a MVP candidate at quarterback and one of the best wide receivers in football. Why are you playing around with this? You have a legitimate Super Bowl window. And at some point, even though Joe Burrow's money's secured and they didn't play with Joe Burrow's money and they won't play with Joe Burrow's money, he's going to continue to see this and come to the conclusion himself that the Bengals are in it to win arguments and not to win football games. And maybe that seeps into Joe Burrow's head, and maybe Joe Burrow does what Carson Palmer did. These are the games, the Pandora box that the Bengals are opening up because they want to haggle this dude over what is, again, pennies to the Cincinnati Bengals. Pennies. It's not even a big deal. It's an accounting difference. This is wild. Now, I'm a pretty stubborn guy, but like, this is shocking even to me.
But like, they trying to do all this is crazy.
Just going through the NIL process and kind of knowing what that negotiating, having that experience early on.
NIL. By the way, man, the media is not your friend if you are a player in this situation. They will always align themselves with the team versus any of your personal interests, right? If any of you guys are watching or are great athletes and might end up on the NFL team, just remember that the media is never going to be your ally in this kind of a situation. Because you see how he's like, he's trying to make a narrative so he can write an article about how NIL caused this holdout, when this ain't got shit to do with NIL. This got everything to do with the Bengals being cheap.
Process and kind of knowing what that negotiating, having that experience early on, does that help you maybe as you negotiate in the pros home, what you expect, what the market looks like, what this business aspect of it is given?
I don't know what y'all. For me, I've never been like a crazy earner in NIL. Like, I always took what I got. Simple. Like, I've never been one to complain about it. I just took what I got. And now I'm just trying to take what I get, and they're making it very hard. So I don't understand.
Is it?
The dude, you realize what he's saying there, right? He never really seeked out NIL deals in college. He just took what the collective gave him. That's what he's saying. I just took what the collective gave me. That's the kind of person I am. Whatever people say it's worth, I'm going to go by that, and that's what it's worth, and I'm going to take you at face value. And, you know, even the collective could have been ripping him off. He wouldn't have found out. He wouldn't have cared because he's not negotiating with the collective. He's just taking whatever money that the Texas A&M player collective divvies up between the guys on the roster, right? That's what Shamar Stewart is saying right there. And he's also saying, that's all I want to do here is just get the money that you usually give to the 17th pick in the draft with the terms that you give to the 17th pick in the draft. He ain't asking for nothing new. He ain't holding you up. He not asking for nothing crazy. He asking for what the 17th pick in the draft gets. And the Bengals are simply saying no. Like, he's like, it was easier to get my money from NIL collectives, which have had a issue of being predatory at times. It's easier to get my money from NIL collectives than it is to get my money from the Cincinnati Bengals. That should be embarrassing to Cincinnati. Like, I know we make all the jokes about Cincinnati being broke. This is more than just being broke. This is just being Scrooge, right? Like they're literally in that front office, like yelling "bah humbug" at players. Like they are a cartoon caricature of a selfish, stingy, rich person. Like, that's what the Bengals have devolved into. They got it. They can spend the money. Again, they're not going to have to. This is pennies to the Bengals. But they're just deciding to be difficult because they want to be difficult. And like, they're not thinking about any of the long-term damage that's going to have. Keep in mind, this isn't even the main contract dispute they got going on. They got a whole thing going with Trey Hendrickson right now. Their star defensive player. Like, at some point, somebody has to have some sense. And I don't know if this is the GM. I highly doubt it's the GM. Who I suspect it is Katie Blackburn, the daughter of Mike Brown, the person who handles the Bengals' financials. This is something that people say is right up her wheelhouse. Now, it's not confirmed that the issue is Katie Blackburn. Maybe it is the Bengals GM making it difficult. Either way, whoever you want to blame in that front office, this is just this is inexcusable.
Is it, so there are certain deadlines and triggers that y'all have, and y'all just, are you aware of kind of what all y'all have at your availability to you?
Say that one more time.
So there are certain triggers as to when things need to be signed by, when contracts need to be done, what action can be taken on your deal, depending on when you sign and when you don't sign. Are you aware of any of those?
No, I haven't really read up on it.
Isn't one of these things where you could see a scenario where it drags on, like if it doesn't, like it goes into the season, like? And
I hope not. I hope not.
Just earlier today, there was Walter Nolan, the 16th pick, that signed his deal. Is that something that, you know, you look at other guys in the draft and you try and you kind of look at what their figures in their contract are, and that's something that you go to the Bengals with?
No, I'm not. I don't want nothing more than what I deserve. The way you've been doing it, just keep it the same way. I don't care what nobody else is making. I don't care how much money they're getting up. I don't care. Just give me what y'all be giving everybody else. Simple.
I mean, like, he's really advocating for himself greatly, especially for a rookie. He's making it clear. And I hope it's covered like this locally in Cincinnati, because you know how people like to he's trying to hold the Bengals up for money. He's not. He's not. He's saying, y'all normally give this pick this money. Why y'all trying to switch it up? Why y'all trying to switch it up on me? Like, that's crazy. Just pay me what you should pay me. And it's pennies. It's pennies to the Bengals. Like, they're not using the money they're saving from Shamar Stewart to build a stadium. It's not that much money. Like, this is a minuscule amount of money, tiny amount of money for the overall billion-dollar operation that an NFL team is.
Sorry, I'm sure no one's more frustrated about this than you, but do you have a message to the fans who might be frustrated not seeing you out there yet?
At the end of the day, fans going to be fans. They're going to be mad at me. They're going to love me. One day, you're going to hate me the next day. So no matter what I say, they're going to love me now. Somehow find a way to hate me tomorrow. So Bengals fans, I'll try to get out there as fast as I can. I promise.
Is there any?
Man, he sounds so excited to play for them Cincinnati fans. This situation in no way has made it so that he's entering his NFL career with a hostile relationship with the fan base for a guy that you drafted in the first round. No way that's going on right now, right? Yeah, he totally feels great about Cincinnati fans, because that's the kind of answer you give when you've gotten reasonable messages from Cincinnati fans supporting you in your contract endeavor, and not just some of the most unhinged stuff on the internet being thrown at you as you just try to basically negotiate a standard rookie deal because the Bengals are trying to fuck you out of nothing.
Veteran that is there any veteran that you've kind of grown close to or watched and like the way they work, or somebody's taking under their wing? Veterans.
Surprisingly, it's just been me and Mac. I know I'm more comfortable with him because I knew him since I was 18 years old coming into college. So I seen how great of a leader he is. I just follow his lead on everything.
How underrated is he, you think, in terms of what he brings to the table?
He's very underrated. I feel like he's a great leader, a hard-working person. And I feel like the harder he works, you're gonna see the outcome.
I know business is business and football is football, but have the veterans said anything? Has there been any reaction at all with your situation?
It made it very easy when the people in your locker room say you're doing the right things, especially the star players. Just put it as that.
So,
not good for Cincinnati. Like, basically everybody in that locker room understands that there is a certain element of the Cincinnati Bengals organization that they have identified as certified bullshitters. That's not good. And what if one of those people is Joe Burrow? What if Shamar Stewart is not the one who came up with the idea in his mind that the Bengals are more into winning arguments than winning football games? What if that's coming from Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins? Now, that's not going to make them walk off the Bengals immediately, but it's going to be something that creeps into their mind year after year as they fall shorter and shorter from winning a championship. As the idea of winning a championship becomes more and more elusive, as the Bengals become more and more entrenched in negotiation strategies such as this. The more and more Joe Burrow tries to recruit for the Bengals, or Jamar Chase tries to recruit for the Bengals, and then somebody shows up, does an interview with the Bengals, and then they get this kind of treatment from the front office, and the less people they're able to recruit because of that, the more and more that line's going to creep in their head. Man, the Bengals don't be trying to win. Well, I'm trying to win. Man, maybe I got to go. They've already got that in this dude's head. He's a rookie. A rookie. He's supposed to be bright-eyed. The NFL's great. The front office, they going to do right by me. He's supposed to believe all the nonsense. He's not supposed to be this hardened. Okay? He's not supposed to be this beaten down by the system. He's supposed to be bright-eyed, happy. And y'all done did this to this man already. While you're trying to screw out your best defensive player out of money. Wow. Fascinating. Fascinating way of doing business. And look, I believe in Joe Burrow as much as anybody. I think Joe Burrow is a fantastic quarterback. I think Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver in all of football. The reason I don't believe the Cincinnati Bengals will win a Super Bowl anytime soon isn't because I don't believe in some of the high-end talent in Cincinnati. It's because of stuff like this. This right here, where is it? This video existing right here, this contract situation, what's going on with Trey Hendrickson, this is the stuff that stopped Cincinnati from winning Super Bowls. And the funny part about this for Cincinnati is they have all the hard stuff done. You know what's really difficult to do in the NFL? Find a premier pass rusher. They got one on a good deal. You know what's really hard to do? Find 2 top-end wide receivers. They have them. You know what's really, really hard to find in the NFL? A MVP candidate level quarterback. They have them. That's the hard stuff. There are teams that I'm a fan of a team that searched for like 50 years since the 80s. Was the 80s 50 years ago? No, 45. 45 years since the 80s. Well, since the late 80s. Let's go 35 years. Call it 1990. 35 years the Browns have been searching for a franchise quarterback. That's how hard it is to find this franchise quarterback. The Bengals have one. That's the difficult stuff. They have acquired all of the difficult stuff you need to be a championship contender. What they now have to do is the easy part. Spend money. That's the easy part. They got it. They own a team worth billions of dollars. You have access to all kind of capital when you have an asset worth billions of dollars. You go to the bank, get a loan for like $100 million, no interest today. When you own an entity like an NFL team that's worth $3 billion, whatever the Bengals are worth. My point is that the Bengals got it. I know we make all these jokes about the Bengals being cheap, but I think that provides them cover that they get to hide behind that they don't deserve. This is a billionaire that owns the team. The Bengals, the Brown family, they're a family of billionaires. Are they as rich as some of the other owners? No, but they have access to enough capital to run an NFL team properly. This is not some mom and pop shop getting by off a t-shirt that they buy for $1 and sell for $2. This is not that. This is a NFL team that has access to NFL revenue. They get one a 31 out of 32 cut of all the billions of dollars that the NFL makes on media and merchandising and tickets. The Bengals own 132nd of that. I'm terrible at fractions. They have ownership of that, which is billions of dollars. This is not a poor franchise. This is not a bunch of like middle-class people trying to run a football team on the humble, right? This ain't hunky-dory. This ain't that. These are billionaires. They're rich. They have more money than they can spend in their lifetime, literally. And this is what they spend doing it when they have some of the rarest assets you can have on a football team. They're wasting time bullshit. Bullshit. Why? Because they want to. Like, they don't have to do any of this. If the Bengals want to act like a normal NFL team, I'm not even saying doing what the Browns or the Eagles do, where we spend money and spend cash to get out the cap. Like, no, that's not going to be normal. Only a couple of teams do that. The Browns have an owner that's willing to sink a lot of cash into this operation. And they're fortunate to have that. We're not asking the Bengals to be like that. Just be normal. Any other NFL team in the Bengals situation would have their first-round pick signed. Any other team in the Bengals situation would have signed Trey Hendrickson 2 years ago. The Bengals keep putting themselves in these horrific situations, and then they cry broke. And because we all make jokes about how poor the Bengals are, and we've made some in this video, ironically enough, it gives them cover. This is not because the Bengals are broke that they're doing this. It's because the Bengals are a joke. They've lucked into more talent than any other franchise that I can remember and have done so little with it. Like, the Bengals have never had an issue with talent. They've always had some spectacular players on their roster. And hell, this franchise, for the lack of playoff success they've had, you'd be shocked to find out they've had consistently above average quarterback play since like 2005. The reason this team can't win a Super Bowl is because they haven't had talent. There have been plenty of really talented Bengals team. It's this stuff. This stuff always gets in the way with Cincinnati. This is what holds them back. And it's not even necessary. This isn't the woes of a small market team. This is just them choosing to be like this. And I think we all need to make that distinction when talking about the Bengals. They're not doing this because they have no other option. They're doing this because they want to. They don't have to. They just want to. And that's why I don't think the Bengals are going to win a championship. And regardless of how good I think Joe Burrow is, regardless of how good I think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are, and I think they're amazing, regardless of it, they're not going to do it because this is the kind of stuff that they pull. You got people worried about money. Nothing brings down a locker room like a bunch of people worried about money. Nothing. You want to see a locker room that's a mess for a year? It's usually because a bunch of dudes are at the last year of their deal. Remember Philadelphia? They were a mess a couple of years ago. Look at the guys who are at the last year of their deal. It starts to make sense. When people start worrying about the money, they stop focusing on the football because they want that money, right? Because that's why they play football, to get paid. Like, you can love the game and all that shit, but you got bills at the end of the day. We all got bills. So you want them bills taken care of. You want that money in your account and you want what you're worth. So if you got to worry about if your team is giving you what you're worth, that's a lot of energy that's being spent not thinking about football. And that the reason that's happening is because Cincinnati is unnecessarily nickel and diming their players. They're not even doing it to add more talent, right? They're not like, oh, we're trying to save money here so we could bring in a big free agent. They're just doing it to do it. Like, what? Like, are Bengals trying to clear space for something? They can afford to bring in Trey Hendrickson. They can afford to sign their standard rookie deal with this. They already got that money allotted for in the cap. They're just doing this to do it. And that is why Cincinnati is a joke. Y'all have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.